Oh hey, a movie! Well, that didn't age well.
From childhood, man is attracted by moving objects that are automatically controlled.
Like this thingamadoozle.
He is inherently lazy, but he is also mechanically minded. That's why he is always inventing things to do his work and ease his own burden.
And pass time until somebody invents Nintendo. Marvel as man harnesses the power of overcomplication.
The roller was one of the first of such devices,
oh boy,
as these paintings of the early Egyptians show. Here they are moving a great weight with the aid of a roller track.
The less said about this in a British accent, the better.
From the roller was developed the first wheel. This has been adapted and developed at all levels of human effort, from the very simplest, like this water-lifting device, where man has obviously overcome the hard work, till today, the wheel is the basis of most mechanical movement.
Like this machine that bathes itself.
The next step was to make the article work by itself.
The next step?
An early example is this clock, which, by rolling a ball on a plate, can run for years on one winding.
Excuse me, do you know what time it is? I'm just trying to catch my train. You know what? I'll just ask someone else.
Through the centuries, this principle of automatic motion has been expanded till today big industries have productions almost entirely dependent on semi-automatic machines.
With OSHA nowhere in sight.
Let's visit one of the British Motor Corporation's huge machine shops and see the kind of equipment that is being used for the production of engine parts.
It's called Skynet.
The first machine of this type was installed nearly 25 years ago, and they're being developed all the time. At the head of this machine, an operator clamps a cylinder block into a fixture and pushes it into line on a roller track. From now on, the machine is automatic.
And the man is sad.
Once the block is in its clutches, it is passed from station to station, while each operation is recorded by the lamps on the panel.
It's like the LA freeway.
Here, the block is passing several milling cutters, which are machining the top and bottom faces simultaneously.
I'll take your word for it.
Look how easily the cutters remove the surplus metal, almost like slicing butter.
Tangy, watery British butter. Get a good look at these hands now, because soon they'll be gone. The first Legos were not fun.
Further along the line, the blocks stop in front of a cluster of drills which move in and, guided by the jig, do their allotted task. At the correct moment, they withdraw, and the procession starts again, only to stop in front of the next jig with its set of tools. And so on to the end of the line.
Or until a worker drops a sandwich in the machine and tries to fish it out. Wow, I never knew so much went into making a Hostess snack cake.
Here, an operator removes the partly machined block and puts it on a gravity feed track, which takes it to the next machine. He then cleans the swarf from the fixture and returns it empty by a traveling conveyor to the head of the machine.
He accomplishes this without even thinking about a union. I'm sure it's fine.
At the next section, the block on its newly machined base is clamped into another fixture and rotated into position under a line of vertical boring tools.
Boring, huh?
These tools wait till the fixture is accurately located and then descend to machine the cylinder bores.
In symmetry with nature, this is also how babies are made. Third caller gets tickets to Pearl Jam.
Once again, the block moves forward on roller tracks to yet another section.
Over the severed pinky.
After a short journey, it is halted, located on dowels, and securely clamped in position. A gang of circular milling cutters descends and machines the crankshaft bearing faces.
Then begins the emotional abuse.
When that's done, the control board once more stops the operation. The block is lowered on the track and automatically ejected. Watch how the steel hands lift the cylinder block and pass it on its way.
It's a sensuous ballet as old as time immemorial.
Once more, the panel flashes and clicks. The block is raised into position under a jig and securely held while several sets of drills descend onto it. And so these cycles of machining operations continue. In and out the tool heads move, all controlled by the electrical panel, and all acting with a precision that can only be maintained by machinery of extreme accuracy.
Leaving modern man free to spend more time ignoring their kids and protesting women in the workplace. Look, if you know a better way to make a snow cone holder, I'd love to hear it. Here, a worker is elated he doesn't control the means of production.
Again, at the end of the line,
Drinks?
the block is taken off and transferred to yet another machine, watched over by the control desk whose winking eyes report progress. Should any operation go wrong, this panel stops the machine at once. And not only stops it, but shows unerringly where the trouble is.
And removes the human foot.
Watch how the blocks pass steadily along with the cutters to their machining station, never a halt, never a falter. At the correct point, the end block is released, while the others are securely held, and the large circular cutters return to machine the end face, the last operation on the block.
Here, the machines compute every nation's nuclear launch codes and remove human error from the equation.
After machining, the blocks are released from their fixtures and passed on a track to the end of the machine.
I assume you've been writing this down.
Here, each block is fed sideways into a rotating box, which turns it completely over and ejects it onto a roller track, and then rotates back, ready to receive the following component.
First bowling ball return.
Thus, without human aid, the cylinder block is completely machined, drilled, bored, and passed to the assembly lines.
And now, intermission.
Here is a similar device for machining cylinder block heads. Any component produced by these processes must be accurate, because any error in either tools or machining would be instantly located by means of the automatic gauges which are built into the equipment.
This man lied on his LinkedIn, so everything he's doing will have to be redone correctly.
Keeping a vigilant eye on all working parts so that production shall not be impeded. Masses of machine heads carrying gangs of tools advance and withdraw with the precision of guardsmen on parade.
Also the name of my punk band out of Bushwick.
Uncanny in operation, their every movement is known and in fact controlled by the switchboard overlooking it.
It's only natural to be aroused by this sensual ballet of cold, unfeeling cylinders. Wow, are these machines even on?
A glimpse of the gearbox section, where the operator in front of his switchboard loads gearbox cases into fixtures and sets them off on their journey.
We can probably skip.
Watch the empty fixture moving into place in front of the operator, while unmachined components pass round, ready to be loaded into their fixtures. Once they are loaded, the electric mechanism comes into operation, and the machine heads all move into action.
While the operator plays Candy Crush.
Pumps controlling the cutting fluid send out a flood of liquid, and the drills and boring bars move in.
This serves no purpose.
Here again is a clear demonstration of how these transfer machines work. The operator loads a gearbox extension into a fixture, and from then on, the machine takes over.
For sure, no one spilled a glass of milk and is trying to pass it off as part of the process. Wow, you can see child labor laws forming in real time. Let's see how fragile human tissue really is. Of all the bones it's possible to break in the human hand. Hey, for Frank here, it's picture day. Bet you had no idea you, the viewer, were underdressed. If you think wearing a tie is a good idea in a place like this, now might be a good time to look away. Remember Frank from earlier? See if you can find him now. The Whoosy-Whatsits are now ready to be added to the whatchamacallits, allowing the doohickey to finally complete the process of how-do-you-do.
Each operation brings the component a step nearer to completion. When all the various sequences have been gone through, the platen with the fixture and component is passed to one side.
And scolded.
It is then lowered onto a moving track where it travels back under the body of the machine and reappears at the head in front of the operator, who extracts the finished component and then repeats the process.
Frank came to work right after his father's wake.
Finally, a machine for drilling crankshaft oil holes. These are at varying angles, and therefore the platens carrying the fixtures are made to rotate so as to bring the angular holes into line with the drill. These wonderful machines are a far cry from the rollers the Egyptians used, and yet in practice they are doing the same thing, lessening the load on man, easing his work, and at the same time increasing his productivity.
The right as one-man show.
This method of production has been called automation, and it is sometimes spoken of as though it were something new and something to be feared. The only new thing is the word automation. That's why the cars of this great corporation are always in the lead, and why they are all quality built.
There's a little bit of love in all these machines, as well as a little bit of Frank. All right, buy a race car already. Don't you think Associated British is a little pathé? Tune in next week for carburetors and gear shafts.